Hey family, hold on for a second. I just got the most beautiful text message. I need to respond real quick. Aw, feelings. I did something, a random kind gesture for someone yesterday because my spirit guides told me they needed it and I couldn't figure out why because it was not cheap. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm being led to do this nice thing for you. So it is what it is. And they just sent me a message today, a really long message explaining to me why that gesture was necessary. And this feel like another reminder that when my guides tell me to do something kind for people, to just fucking do it. You guys, you don't know what people are going through. You never know what people are going through. Shout out to the Blue Crew. It is Met Gala Monday. Look at this. We made it to the Met Gala, y'all. My good friend Mike Goyo is going to be joining us shortly. We are going to be doing a review of The Devil Wears Prada 2. And the movie came out, for those who don't know, hi, my name is Bluetooth. I'm a writer, producer, emotional intelligence coach, and all-around bad bitch who tries to use my platform to highlight through arts, pop culture, and politics why emotional intelligence is a necessity for all of us to survive whatever in the fuck is going on in the world right now. So this is edutainment. It's educational, but it's also entertainment. EQ is a prerequisite for all the work that we do here. Oh God, I forgot my hair was curly. Somebody a couple of years ago once said that I reminded them of Natasha Lyonne. Do you guys know who Natasha Lyonne is? She is the redheaded actress from Orange is the New Black, Poker Face, and a couple other shows. And Russian Dolls. I love her on that show, Russian Dolls. And it is so funny. At the time when they said it, I had just dyed my hair red. And it wasn't until just now. This is very much giving Natasha Lyonne. For those who don't know, actually, let me take a picture of her. New folks know, actually, new folks don't know, but this show is always sponsored by ADHD. Let me find an image of Natasha. And I remember when the lady said it, she was like, you know, if you were a white person, a white woman, you'd be Natasha Lyonne. And I remember looking at her like, what the fuck are you talking about? But the fact that I just saw it, hold on. Open image in new tab. Oh, this is a small image. I hate when you go to open an image in a new tab and the image is small as hell. There we go. We're gonna do a quick screen share so you guys know what the hell I'm talking about. Share screen. Wrong screen. This is Natasha Lyonne. And I hope she's well. Somebody had mentioned she was going through something, but it's so funny right now. Yes, Russian Doll is amazing. If you have not seen Russian Doll on Netflix, because this episode is all about TV and watching good stuff, highly recommend you see it. But it wasn't until just now that I realized that, oh my God, I am wearing Natasha Lyonne's hair right now. Someone says she's doing an AI project now. Oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks. But yes, AI aside, if you want good TV, Poker Face on Peacock, Natasha Lee. And the funny thing is, Poker Face is about a redheaded neurodivergent woman who has really, really great pattern recognition skills and inconveniences bad people because she's always the only person in the room to call bullshit. So I always thought people compared me to Natasha Lyonne because of the premise of the show. The hair is just cosmetic, okay? But Poker Face is a great show, highly recommend it. All right, somebody said that you can see it. Oh God, funny. All right, back to the main show, guys, because we go on detours often. I saw The Devil Wears Prada yesterday, and I went to my favorite theater. Mind you, my favorite theater is not fancy. My favorite theater is an old Hollywood type of theater with like 1950s posters all over the walls. Every single cinema can only fit like 50 people. They bring you food and snacks. It's very like an old school cinema. I actually prefer it to like the fancy AMC and IMAX theaters because I basically feel like I'm just going to the theater room in my own house. It's very down to earth, okay? In all the years I have been sneaking off to this movie theater, and for those of you who are going to be watching my birthday vlog coming out this week in the members only area, oh, that reminds me. Let me take away the part that says to sign up for the Cinco de Mayo party. Cinco de Mayo party is sold out, guys. Hold on, let me change my banner. The Cinco de Mayo party is sold out. We are having a huge Cinco de Mayo party tomorrow. So let me remove this right now because the party is done. And if you signed up to join us for the Cinco de Mayo party, all 150 of y'all, the link went out this morning. If you paid for tickets, you were sent a link this morning. If you were not sent a link this morning, you didn't pay. Look at God. Look at how that makes sense. Hold on. Let me put it back on now. All right. So it says register for our EQ class and birthday offerings, but there's no more Cinco de Mayo. For those who are there, by the way, can we just shout out Sweetie and the Blue Crew and Florence and Gia and all of you on the Discord? You guys came up with a cocktail and mocktail menu for the Blue Crew for tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo event. I cannot tell you how impressed I am. Let me see if I can pull up this image real quick before we start. Where is the image? Hold on. Why won't it let me pull up the image? Oop, I'm not pulling up that image. Hold on. There we go. So we're having a Cinco de Mayo party tomorrow, and here is the menu. Brought to you by the Blue Crew. I have nothing to do with this. And it's a cocktail menu. And at the very top is Mexican espresso martinis, which are my absolute favorite drink. So I love the intentionality and the thoughtfulness of this. And put this down. All right, let's start the show now. In the middle of me watching this movie yesterday, because I went to watch it yesterday before I went to the gym. And I'm sitting there watching it. And out of nowhere, in the last 10 minutes, when the climax is supposed to happen, the theater goes out. Like the screen goes completely black. And I was like, nah, what happened now? It took them 20 minutes to get the film back up. They had to give us free tickets, whatever. And in the middle of me going, oh my God, I'm about to review The Devil Wears Prada tomorrow. But unfortunately, I can't finish the movie. I called Mike and said, hey, yo, Mike, can you just tell me what happened in the movie? Because I can't finish the rest of it. Luckily, right before Mike spoiled it for me, I was able to wait long enough for them to get the projector to work. We watched the last 10 minutes of the film. And I intentionally have not asked Mike what he thinks of the film. I have no idea if we agree. I finished the movie because they got the projector back up. I have no idea if we're going to agree because the reviews of Devil Wears Prada #2 are mixed. And sorry, the Cinco de Mayo thing just popped up. The reviews are mixed, and I think I have a theory on why that is. So before we get into the film, before we get into the montage, y'all know we always play montages to hear other people's opinions. I want to bring my good friend, my Haitian play cousin, Mike Goyo, to the stage. Welcome, Mike. Hi, friend. Oh, wait a minute. I can't hear you. Hold on. You're muted. You're muted, Mike. Unmute yourself. Not you on mute. Hello? Mike, you're still muted. Now, hold on. Can y'all hear Mike? Not Mercury and micro braids. It's not, though. Say Mike test 1, 2. Oh, I see your lips moving. Oh, God, why can't I hear Mike? Okay, I'm going to remove you and bring you back. Let's see what happens. Hold on. Review, remove. We've never had somebody on mute before. All right, we're going to make sure. Edit mic settings. Reduce background noise. Everything is fine. Okay, we're going to bring Mike back and see if this works.
Hello.
Hey. Now Hello? We can hear you.
Okay, boom. What up, Blue Crew? Hi,
I'm so excited to see you.
How are you, my love?
Now, Mike, I have no idea.
I was trying to excuse my background, y'all. I know it looks like I'm in a prison yard.
It does.
But
are we both giving orange and blue black for different reasons?
It's just the background I chose. Listen, I'm at home. It's Met Gala Monday. I'm doing reviews. Like, I'm chilling. You're not getting you getting Mike at home. Okay.
I'm seeing Mike in the block. I'm seeing Mike in the yard.
Listen, cell block C.
Not cell block C. That's hilarious.
Okay.
First of all, I've always said that I'm concerned that I would do too well in jail.
I
feel like we both do well for different reasons.
How you doing?
Yeah, I feel like we would do. I don't want to go to jail. Universe, I am not manifesting. I just feel like we have the kind of personalities that could find a way.
Oh yeah, a way in a will
by somebody powerful.
A will in a way. Or we're gonna find someone named Will.
Ooh.
And figure it out.
And what will make it? I feel like I would end up being one of those. Like I would accidentally start a cult and start like doing like self-help consultations in the lockup. Now, how'd you get here? I know I'm here, but how'd you get here?
Just being messy.
Tell me about your childhood. Yeah, no, I probably have me a little girlfriend who's real handsome. Yeah,
my God. Especially when they be so fine. You be like, what happened?
Yeah. Okay, Mike. Put the mic closer because you sound a little like you under your armpit.
Muffled? Okay.
Your microphone is away. Mic
Is that
check.
better?
Not bricked up. They said he bricked. That's not what bricked
Brick.
up means.
Listen.
Okay, not for me.
Bricked up. Listen. Built this house brick by brick.
Okay, I just need her to know that bricked up means something else in the streets.
She know what it means. That's a double entendre. I know what you mean. Orange moon, double entendre. We love that.
Okay.
Is the sound better now, Blue?
Yeah, much better, and I can hear you clearly now. All right, so
Okay.
I will wait with bated breath because we're gonna first watch. I think we're gonna watch one major professional review of the film.
Oh, you got clips. Okay.
Of course. Hello. After we watch the first clip, now Mike got the snacks. I got my little beverage too. After we watch the clip, I want to hear if you agree or disagree with the professional review.
Okay.
Because I'm concerned that I'm not sure you and I are going to agree on this one.
You don't know.
I don't know. Okay, let's watch the first clip. Let's see.
Exactly how sequels should be. I saw The Devil Wears Prada 2, so here's the good and the bad without spoilers. As with any reboot or revival, there are so many ways this movie could have gone sideways. And yet, I found this to be the best legacy sequel since Top Gun Maverick. Director David Frankel, writer Aline Brosh McKenna, and the whole cast have created a winning, charming, and thoughtful follow-up worthy of the original that delivers everything you're expecting and then some. First off, shout out to Aline Brosh McKenna for moving the ball forward and furthering the characters in authentic and realistic ways, while still updating the world around them to accurately reflect today's media and fashion industries. To that end, McKenna isn't afraid to raise the stakes and tackle real issues of aging, tech, journalism, money, and integrity. This movie goes straight at some bigger and darker ideas, and McKenna handles them with reverence and weight. Personally, as someone who's been laid off by big media companies 3 times in my life, I felt really seen by the themes of this movie. And yet, quite impressively, the film is just as frothy and fun as its predecessor. McKenna's plotting is efficient and economical, there's just as much funny, quotable dialogue, and a ton of clever and well-placed callbacks to the original. To that end, the entire cast is in peak form, easily slipping back into their characters. Streep is once again iconic, reviving Miranda Priestley's acid, but also her softer side. Anne Hathaway is beyond watchable and relatable, Stanley Tucci is a warm hug, and Emily Blunt once again gets to show her sharp edges. Plus, I gotta shout out Justin Theroux, who is hilarious as a Jeff Bezos stand-in. And then, of course, you get attractive location shooting in New York and Milan, even more incredible fashion, and some really fun montages and needle drops. On the negative side, there's some clunky exposition, a few of the callbacks felt too overstated, there were definitely too many cameos, and one climactic turn in the second act felt very rushed. But in the end, I found this movie to be beautifully cathartic. And despite all the problems it presents with the working world, it was ultimately optimistic and inspiring. Basically, it's a pretty perfect sequel.
Now.
Okay.
That is... Oh, hold on. At the stage. I didn't mean to remove my...
Okay.
That is the official review. And somebody, it's so funny. Somebody just said, "Hi, Blue Mike and Blue Crew. So happy to finally be joining on live on time. Love from London." It's ironic and coincidental that you say that because Mike and I actually saw the London version of Broadway, a rendition of Devil Wears Prada, #1 with Vanessa Williams. And our friend Blair Dotton Haley, who's very close friends with her, brought us backstage. We met her beautiful big ass dog. That dog, that dog was big. That was a man-sized dog. Okay, sorry, but big old dog. So I was like, oh my God, who perfect to talk about this movie with? Because Mike made fun of me because I had only seen Devil Wears Prada once when it first came out. And that's because in 2006, I was working as a personal assistant at Takashimaya, New York to a powerful woman. And I was too triggered to ever go back. It was a little too on the nose for me. I was like, I already know this. I don't need to see this again. I don't need this kind of whatever. So Mike, and I can see people saying they agree and disagree. And yes, we went to the West End. I can see people agreeing and disagreeing. And there's going to be a lot of nuanced critiques that we're going to be watching in the montages. But overall, before we get into the weeds, did you enjoy the film? Who is texting you? Tell them to stop.
Oh, you can hear that? My
yes,
bad.
every one of them.
Child, hold on. Let me put it on Do Not Disturb. You know it's Monday, child. It's a work day.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
Okay. Before we get up in arms about some of the things that we as fans of the original did not care for, I want to say that I really enjoyed the sequel.
Me too. I had fun.
Okay. We're on the same page.
Okay, I'm relieved.
I really enjoyed it. My thing is, was it perfect? No. But did it deliver? Yes. So today, I'm sure we'll be discussing all the things that it delivered on and some of the places where there was room for improvement. I'd also like to add that as a writer myself, it's really hard to please everyone, right?
Thank you. That's the point that
to,
I wanted to make. Yep.
boom. So you have to please the fandom. You have to please the studio execs. You have to please investors. You have to please any attached brand, the director, so on and so on, right? All while offering a stellar piece of work. And to that, I say bravo to the writer because they made it happen. Now, my issues with the film are more so to do with like character development and story and pacing of the script and the overall story. But for the most part, like I enjoyed it. It was so like nostalgic. I really enjoyed the callbacks, although I feel like there were too many callbacks. I'm like,
Agree.
A couple of these did not need to be in the sequel.
I think the callback that I had the most issue with to the callback point is I'm not gonna. There's no spoilers, by the way, guys. Oh, Kendall's in here. Kendall said he enjoyed it.
Hey,
Kendall. I'll send you the little link or whatever. After us, me, Kendall, and Mike all saw the MJ movie together 2 weeks ago for my birthday. And the MJ movie was the.
We have thoughts about that too, but you know.
Yeah, it was the opposite. I feel like the MJ movie was a highlight reel to please the fan, but the writing, the final draft of the script, I'm not gonna say the writing, because I can feel that the Jackson brothers probably interfered and tied the hands of the writer of the MJ film. But I feel like the MJ film was highly pleasing to the fans, but failed as a script. I think this is the inverse where I think the script was very well executed. It did the best it could because you can't please everybody. But because of that, the fans might not be as excited because I don't think it pandered to the fans in the way that the MJ script very clearly was pandering to the fans. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And what I'll add to that is the script very well has been great, but things may have been left out on the cutting room floor in editing when the filmmaker is editing the script, right? So there's the vision that the writer has for the work. I'll say this: when you initially sit down to write something, like in writing this sequel, which I'm sure which is like a feat of its own, you're like, okay, these are all the things these are all the things I know I need to come back to. This is a formula that folks enjoyed from the original. Not only do I have to incorporate that formula into the sequel, I have to do it in a way that's going to please the execs because they're going to be looking for certain callbacks that will be attractive to marketing in order to market this film. Because think about it, we're still in a very much post-pandemic space where the theatrical releases are still very touch and go. So they had to make sure that this film was going to hit even more than they knew it would already hit. Do you know what I mean? So there are certain aspects that the writer just has to keep in mind while writing. Okay, then say you write the perfect script. By the time that script is ready to go into production and it's we're in editing afterwards, they're like, okay, we need to take this out, we need to take this out, we need to take this out. And at times what I feel happens and what happened here with this script is there's certain connective tissue that I felt was missing. And certain parts of it felt really rushed. Like the beginning in terms of the pacing for the first 15 minutes.
Pause for a second. Pause for a second about the script though. I wanna sit with the script for a second.
Okay.
I remember being at a screening for 1001, which to this day I think is Tiana Taylor's best movie ever. If you've never seen 1001, it's the best movie that she's ever acted in. I think she should have gotten nominated for that and not one battle after the Jigaboo. I hate that movie. Right.
Not the Jigaboo.
And I remember I hate that movie. We'll talk about that in different times.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it is very problematic. It's very race fetishizing. And I remember when we were in that room, Tina Knowles was doing she was hosting the director and the writer. And they were talking, we were in a room full of creatives, and they were talking about what is your biggest fear on the horizon. And I raised my hand and I said, there's this new era of writing that feels like a bunch of older people went to Twitter/X, grabbed woke language, and is trying to make everything sound counterfeit woke rather than sincere. Somebody just wrote, they made it woke for Gen Z. Actually, I disagree. I actually think the evolution that some people are complaining about as a woman of the same age as the main character, Anne Hathaway's character, were actually really realistic to me. I think everybody, one of the things I heard was, well, Andy is so much older. how is she still this innocent? And and I was like, wait a minute, I get that feedback all the time. I'm in my 40s, right? And there is a certain level of quixotic idealism as a writer and as a creative that I have to maintain, not to drown in sorrow as a working class creative, that I don't think was unrealistic for her to have. And when I go back to Boston, Mike and I are both from Boston, I regress when I go home. Some of that regression actually felt realistic to me. You don't go back home for Thanksgiving and tell everybody to suck your dick. You find yourself having arguments with your cousin that you wouldn't have in LA because you have a therapist in LA, but your cousin drags you back into your past. And so I think some of the messiness actually read realistic to me rather than fake Gen Z, fake woke, or why isn't she more evolved? Why didn't she tell Miranda to suck her dick? I was like, no, if I was going back to Miranda, I would still slightly be in awe for her, despite 15 years of traveling the world and doing my own thing. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I'll also say that some of her growth felt stunted to me, and that's another kind of a critique
That's
I had
too.
of the film in terms of like the character development. There were aspects of Andy's character that I felt like should have been developed a little further, but I'll say this, right? Oftentimes what happens is just apart from just regressing back into a space because you've moved back to a place. It's not just that, but like losing her job and having to start from square one again.
Thank
like,
you.
That's the other thing. Like she's lost her job, she's been laid off, and now she's back at square one, having to figure out a way to kind of rebuild her career in a space that she thought she left. So that is true. You do regress back into a space, especially when you're revisiting certain individuals that only saw you a certain way. And that was made clear by Miranda, who still saw her as Andy, the old Andy, the girl who left, to a certain extent, because I don't want to ruin this for certain individuals who may not.
We don't want to ruin it.
We don't want to ruin it, but it does progress into a place between them where it's like, okay, it's clear that like they have a mutually fond relationship for each other. It does get to that place, but she does regress back to the same place that she was. Although there are a couple of moments where I wish that there were a couple of moments where they could have shown Andy's emotional and or character growth, and they chose not to do it. And
I have a question about the HR thing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
With the HR thing, what do you feel about this is not going to ruin it for you guys. The theme is it's 2026, and now all the things we loved about Miranda have gotten her in trouble with HR, and so she's constantly having to try to figure out how to not be problematic and get canceled, because the old 2006 Devil Wears Prada is cancel 101. Everything she did would have got you canceled in 2006, like now in 2006 version, right? So the theme is HR is constantly saying you can't just throw your coat on the floor and snap your fingers. You kind of have to put your own. What do you feel about that aspect of consequences, of big icons now having to deal with the consequences in this new landscape, and things that were iconic 20 years ago now get you canceled?
I think that I think that it's something that does take place nowadays. I mean, everyone is kind of like walking on eggshells, but I think the way it applies here, especially or specifically to Miranda, is that she is on thin ice already. She's already trying to elevate into a certain space, and while elevating, trying not to fall through the bottom of where she currently is. Yeah. So for her, it's almost heightened because she doesn't want to say something that is going to be offensive, because the film, the movie kind of its inciting incident is like some scandal happening where she's like, her name is in the news and they're having to clear it up, right? Yeah. So on top of like the whole kind of like HR aspect of it, she's not trying to be controversial or say anything controversial because she's already on thin ice. She's already on thin ice.
I think 20 years ago, we all were liars. I think 20 years ago, powerful people were told to fake it till you make it. And because of social media culture, influencer culture, boss babe culture blowing up in our faces, and all of us having to be put on medication and anxiety meds and go to therapy because that shit was eating us whole, I think seeing a once powerful figure have to be more human to survive because she can't keep the act up anymore, that actually felt very realistic to me. Look at Oprah. Oprah used to be seen as a god. Oprah has to watch her fucking mouth now. And so I'm like, in a world where everybody who's powerful has to watch their mouth, I was a little bit taken aback that the audience was mad that Miranda was not exempt from that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here's what I'll say. I was with those individuals right after leaving the movie. I was like, damn, Miranda was like lost some of her teeth. But as I like had some time, as I had some time to like think about it, I'm like, okay, I have more of an understanding of her now. And we were given more of a glimpse into Miranda's life, her perspective, what she was experiencing outside of her romantic relationship. Because in the first film, we got a bit of her romantic relationship. We had that privileged moment in the hotel room where, you know, she was getting a divorce and like we were with her emotionally. But this time around, we got to see what it's like to be Miranda Priestley at work, like actually at work, and the pressures that she's under to make things happen. So that part I really enjoyed and made her more human, because one of the things that I think the film did brilliantly was skewing the lines between who's a villain and who's a hero, right? And I think there was an article where Meryl Streep mentioned this too. Like, in life, it's more complicated than heroes and villains.
Yeah, there was no villains in this movie, just people that we just didn't like or disagreed with.
Child, I mean, Tech might have been the villain.
I mean, yes, but even he was a familiar villain that we have to swallow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There wasn't like the Mr. Evil with the finger, like
right.
It wasn't it was almost like, and I will say this, I think most of the critiques that I have heard are the things that, and this is something that you and I can talk about, as people who live in Hollywood, as people who are around high-powered people, as people who traverse certain rooms where we are the ones who have power, and other rooms where we have no power at all. You know, it's conditional, right? Power is conditional in the industry, whether it's fashion or entertainment. In one room, you in charge, and the showrunner, and the next room, you are just happy that Beyonce walked past you, right? I think seeing Miranda go back and forth between hyper-powerful and then having to acquiesce and then being powerful, I think for me at this age, it was a relief to see that realism that I think some of the audience that wanted escapism was disappointed by.
I know I wanted escapism.
You didn't want to see a real job.
That film hit me in the face. There were so many moments.
It was triggering a little bit.
It was triggering. I'm like, I'm experiencing this now. Like this change, the addition of tech, the addition of like different technologies are threatening to take away your job. Like
AI.
Like how dispensable we are. Like I felt it. And I'm like, yeah. But you actually, can you go back to the quote right before? Is there a way to go back to
which quote was it?
This one?
Kind of.
It mentioned something about she said something about it being unrealistic, about them being peers.
Yeah, that Miranda had.
I wanted to ask what industry is that individual in? Because Blue, you already know when it comes to our industry, when it comes to being in entertainment and different kind of offshoots of entertainment, your assistant yesterday will be your boss tomorrow. That is a fact.
Lena Waithe once told me
that is a fact.
He was bringing coffee on the set of Girlfriends, and then 15 years later found herself having to be a peer to people that she was bringing coffee to.
And that's the longer version. 15, please, 5.
No, actually,
5 years.
I'm being messed. It was like 10 years later. It was like 10 years ago. I was bringing you coffee. Now we're taking meetings, and I might be hiring you. I'm hiring you as the coffee person.
Hello. I have seen people skyrocket past support positions into positions of power like this in this industry. Like, so it was realistic. It was realistic.
I will say this too is, number one, I'm so happy that between the MJ movie and the Devil Wears Prada movie, both movies were lambasted with so much cynicism by the public speculating before they were even out to be reviewed. And I think there's a certain ick and nasty that we have around everything right now that I'm telling everyone, see everything for yourself.
Yeah.
Because Perfect example. The Michael Jackson film was completely flawed. I still had a great time at some points and found myself.
We sure did.
Right? Flawed enough. I was like, ooh, that don't make no sense. Go ahead, Tito. Just dancing. Didn't make no sense. Had me a time. Devil Wears Prada. It was a little too realistic. I was triggered a little bit, but had me a time, right? I think that we're in an age of cynicism where a part of me at the end of the movie said, I could tell how much work and intentionality and excellence went into making this, and y'all gonna talk shit tomorrow. And how do you feel as a creative knowing that everything that you do, you're already having an uphill climb because the audiences are already prepared to hate everything? How do you feel as a creative, especially in the writer's room?
I feel like I am and have been in the process of building the tough skin to not care about that. Because even before fan criticism, you're going to get notes.
I hate notes. But yes.
I hate notes with a passion. You're going to get notes from the execs. You're going to get notes from the investors, folks who've given you the money to make the thing. You're going to get notes from the director. Everyone is going to have notes. Writing is rewriting. I'm sure this script was rewritten time and time and time and time and time again because you're never done writing until everything is on the screen. That's when you're done writing, you know? So by the time the fandom comes and they're watching what you've put out into the world, you have to detach yourself from it. Or
One of our friends did a movie that was highly successful. I remember 48 hours before she had to be on set, I invited her to have drinks with me. She said, Blue, I have to rewrite the script in 2 days. I said, bitch, you won't be on set? Wait a minute, on Monday. She said, I got notes. I said, bitch, wait a minute. The people is coming. She said, I was so relieved that y'all liked that fucking movie because I was like, my girl did not sleep. She was writing the set with a fresh script. It is that to the nose sometimes.
Yep. Writing in the car, on set.
Headed to the set.
Okay, writing in the trailer, writing on a stool in the corner somewhere with the second grip. Like, figure it out. Figure it out.
Let's see some more reviews real quick because there's some points some granular points that have been brought up, and I want to see how you feel about them. Some of them I understood and agreed with. And some of them I was like, y'all was never going to be happy. It's a movie. But let's...
Anybody else feel this way about The Devil Wears Prada too? Before I even tell you about the second one, I just want you to know that I am obsessed with the first one. I've seen it over 1,000 times. It's one of my favorite movies. But there was something about the second one. I have no idea what it was. The lighting, the storyline, something. It put me and two of my other friends to sleep. We missed parts of the movie because we fell asleep. We walked in with really high expectations and we left a little disappointed. And while we were walking out, people were coming out of the Michael movie, which was next door, and they were telling us that the Michael movie was beyond amazing. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you.
Now, hold on. There's no world where I'm going to say the Michael movie was better written or executed than... Okay, let me just play.
Well, I'm going to try my best not to. I still want you to go see it. Miranda, she does have like a little personality shift in it. A lot of people aren't crazy about
personality shift. It's been 20 years. That's called growth.
It's not even just that's called a different layer, a different aspect of the individual. We saw her going through different stressors than she was in the first film. Of course, she's going to be
the same person after 20 years, Mike. Mike, who the fuck were you in 2006? Mike, in 2006, I had a belt around all my shirts for no reason.
I didn't have hair then.
Right, going to the club.
I got hair now.
And
I got a hair transplant, y'all.
The hair is fresh, Mike. Mike, the hair is about 7 months old, Mike. You didn't have hair 12 months ago. Talking about 20 years ago. Nigga, okay, let's play the video.
It's been 5 months.
Mike said, I got some fresh hair.
I actually like that part. Absolutely love the fashion. I loved what everybody was wearing throughout the whole entire film. And I love that they released the movie right before the Met Gala. I feel like it goes with the whole theme. I was not crazy about Andy's relationship. I feel like that was kind of just thrown in there and it was random. Now, the message that they're trying to share in the movie is actually really important and serious, but I feel like it could have been a totally different movie and not for this one. Like I said, I didn't hate it, but I was expecting a lot more. But if you saw it, I want to know what you thought of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have some prior commitment? Some hideous skirt convention you have to go to?
Why did we need a love interest for Andy in The Devil Wears Prada 2? I don't know. I'm just left wondering if this was even necessary at all. I couldn't get invested enough in the story because honestly, the actor didn't have enough screen time and they didn't develop this relationship enough for me to even really care that much that they got into an argument before she left on her trip, let alone did I really care whether or not they got back together at the end or tried to work it out. It didn't get that deep. made me wonder actually if there was more scenes between the two of them that ended up getting cut from the film, and that it would have made more sense if we saw more of them together. If you cut it completely, I don't think I would miss it one bit. And she actually didn't need a love interest in this film. We know that we hated this man from the original so much that maybe we felt like Andy doesn't need a man at all. We don't need to see her with a man. That doesn't need to be part of her story this time around. And I'm just wondering if anybody else felt the same way. I could just do without that storyline in this movie. I just didn't think it was necessary.
I have a strong visceral reaction to this.
Same.
A strong visceral reaction to this. What is
we
your reaction
really need
to
to get into it.
Andy
Do
don't
you
need
want
no
to
dick?
go first? Do you want to go first?
Okay.
Because I have thoughts.
As a woman in the 2020s, Andy's dating life being an inconsistent peripheral thing is actually incredibly accurate.
Yes.
He showed up the way all the niggas in my life show up that I'm interested in. Are you kidding me? Have you not dated since the pandemic? Right now, when you are dating, particularly if you have a shiny job that requires all of you, you will be focused on work 80% of the time. And if you're lucky, one weekend out the month, you get to flirt with a cute boy and have you some drinks. And, oh, I like you. I'll see you when I get back from Italy. Like, to me, that was incredibly accurate. And also, he wasn't a fuckboy. So we got her to see her meet a man who wasn't a hater. That was a nice change of pace. And I'm going to say this. I get nervous when women act like we have to pretend we don't want no dick. We have to pretend that we don't want love or relationships because everything sucks. I would have hated if they said that she was childless with no man and did not want to date and just wanted to be a spinster devoted to fashion. I love that we got to see that she'll take love if it makes sense. She's open to it if it makes sense, but she doesn't center it. So that's how I took it personally. Hit it, Mike.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I'll go one step further and say that the film was intentional about not centering her romantic relationship. Because I think that we're in an age now, to your point, Blue, where we're not really doing that right now. Like, we're having these sparse kind of like relationships, but for the most part, our career is kind of like our first love. So I love that they focused on her career and kept her relationship on the peripheral. And while doing that, it felt more true to life to Andy, the character, because that's the thing that I enjoyed about this sequel, right? They were really putting Miranda and Andy together as like mirrors of each other. Because the thing is, by the end of the film, like, Miranda sees Andy. She sees a lot of herself in her, and she says it in the original when they're in the car at the end. They're like, "I see a lot of myself in you." Like, they parallel each other in that way. So I felt like that relationship represented where Andy was, and like in terms of her character development and where she was going, and where she placed her priorities, right? And she made the point of saying that my eggs are on ice. She made the point of saying that, not just to maybe necessarily appease individuals who are like, well, doesn't she want a relationship and love? Yes, she wants that, but it's not the priority. Right now, it's like, okay, those things are on ice, and I'm going to go full steam ahead with my career because the man is not the center of my world. Like, if that part, him, I would have hated the movie. Yeah, that part I really enjoyed about it. I do think that her relationship arc could have been threaded through the film a little bit better, but it is what it is.
You agree we need another 30 minutes? I feel like we needed another 30 minutes
in the film.
Yeah,
I do, and I think I think the first girl's point about falling asleep, I think we're also at an age where when films are being tested, they're being tested for length of time that individuals have the capacity to sit in a theater and watch a thing. Especially now, especially post social media age.
Verticals, everything's on a vertical.
Verticals, doom scrolling. Like, folks are used to going from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. So sitting there for like, say, 2 hours for a film like this, they're gonna be like, maybe they can't do that. So I'm sure they have analytics to be like, okay, this is the length of time folks are gonna sit.
But Mike, we're hypocrites because on one thing, you don't want a movie that's over 2 hours, but then you look at this, we need a little something on the film because some things were rushed. Writers can't do both, guys. We're either going to make it 2 hours because you have no attention, or we're going to take the extra 30 minutes to flesh things out. You cannot, like, I find that so maddening that we want both and they're not both possible.
I hear you, and the thing is, it could have very well have been fleshed out in the ways that we're wanting in the script, but being cut when the film's already been shot and things are being taken out. Do you know what I mean? So I'd be interested to read the script to see what's in the script compared to what's in the film, because oftentimes some things that are in the script do not make it onto the screen when you see it in the theaters because they're just having to cut stuff. Folks are just having to cut stuff and make it work. There's the script that happens when you write, and then there's the story that happens when you see the film. It's two different things.
I said, forget Gen Z. Give me the time. I personally agree. I think that we're not saying anything that the writers don't agree with, and that, to your point earlier, their hands were tied. I think if we got the director's cut of the more fleshed out version, we would have been fed, but then the complaints would have been it's too long.
Yeah, and oftentimes that is the case. Oftentimes,
do y'all want good or y'all want short?
Yeah, and one more thing before we move on from the relationship, and I think it's something that's really interesting to note here. At every turn, the guy, I forget his name. At every turn, he made himself accessible to her. Yeah, he made himself. There was one scene where he was like, "Okay, you can go off to Rome. You can go, and I'll be here when you get back. Like, if you feel like hitting me up, hit me up." He put the decision in her hands and completely made her feel comfortable and at ease with whatever decision she was going to make. And I really enjoyed that about the relationship because it put the ball in Andy's court. And Andy did exactly what I thought she would do, which is really just focus on her career, because the breadcrumbs that they were leaving throughout the film in regards to Andy's past relationships is that they were quick, and short-lived throughout her career.
She traveled for 15 years, she said she spent 15 years traveling before she finally settled down to publication. Right. I will say this, ladies, we can be assholes sometimes. And one of the things I winced at, but also enjoyed because of my clientele, was there were moments where Andy was stressed, where she was a bitch to him. And he, rather than, he just pulled back like, okay, you're clearly worried about something. That was a little sharp. You got some trauma. And rather than be a toxic masculine, I'm going to give you space. Let me know when you have room for me. I like, number one, that she was allowed to be bitchy and not be perfect, because in the previous one, he was a big old hater and she was acquiescing to him. We got to see, I will be honest to all of us, 20 years of dating. I've been dating for 30 years, y'all. Okay, I started dating early. 30 years of dating. If you trigger me while I'm stressed about work, you might get a little bite or something, right? And I'll apologize the next day. But I know very few creatives who don't have that moment of being so focused on work that they don't bark at their partner. I like that we got to see that she didn't have to be perfect or without any trauma for him to still show up for her. I also found it interesting, though, when Emily Blunt and her rich Jeff Bezos boyfriend were buying like jewels and stuff, and she was mesmerized by watching Emily Blunt's character like be with a rich man. Like, oh, I'm sorry, this is just so hypnotic. I think there's a part of us, I can't speak for you, Mike, you let me know. Andy was dating a working class man, a contractor, who was good to her and emotionally safe.
High working class, still rich.
Well, high working class. Yes, high working class. White collar contractor, right? But best case scenario, he works with his hands, right? So he's $100,000. And she was okay with a more salt of the earth version of success. And though, when you see your former colleague with a billionaire, you can't be like, I wonder what it would be like to be on a little private jet with a rich nigga, though. I'm cool with the contractor, but
that's the thing, though. It's not just that; it's the level of ambition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Not that the contractor, wasn't ambitious and he was doing his thing, and he certainly had all
good dude, a regular good dude.
There's a certain, good dude, but there's a certain thing when you're equally yoked with someone, or someone is at a higher level than you, because them being at a higher level than you just gives you a marker to also get to.
Yeah.
And it's very, that to me, like, that to me is very attractive when I'm equally yoked with someone, or someone is at a higher level than me, and it gives me a marker to get to them. So I enjoy that.
More than equally, though. That is aspirational. He's more than equally.
Yeah, it's aspirational. It's aspirational, and I love that. And here's the other thing too: the guy that Andy was dating, he did not give her a reason to make any excuses beyond it being about Andy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he didn't give her excuses where it's like, oh, he's this and he's that, and like, I'm not gonna date him because he's this. He didn't give her those excuses. So she was only left with herself to be like, okay, I need to make decisions in terms of what I want because he's not the bad guy here. I'm just needing to figure out what it is
I'm
that
particular.
I want. Yeah, I'm particular. So that I really, really enjoyed. And here's one thing I'll say before we move on to, people keep mentioning the first boyfriend from the original film being like this bad guy, but y'all might hate me, but I don't think he was a bad guy.
He was selfish, Mike.
I don't think he was selfish. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Maybe he was a selfish, but I don't think it was all that. One thing that he said to her was, I don't care if you are doing this, this, and this all day. Just be real about what it is that you are doing. Andy's issue in the original is that she made it seem as though she didn't care about the clackers, and like she made fun of those girls, and she didn't want to be in that world. But in actuality, she was lying to herself. She enjoyed
but
it.
He shamed her though. That's the part that we don't like is we date people all the time who lie to themselves, but how you hold space for them when you realize that's happening is where he loses us.
I hear you, but here's the thing, right? I'll use this as an example. If we're both making fun of a thing, right? Because we're thinking like, oh, that's dumb. Like, Kendall, we'll just use you since you might be in the room. Since we're both making fun of, since we're both making fun of Kendall, and we're like, Kendall this, Kendall that, Kendall this. I go hang out with Kendall, and I'm like, oh wow, I've grown a different opinion of Kendall. Like, this person's actually really, really dope. And I meet back with you, and you're still making fun of that individual, but I'm fronting that with you because I actually like this person. So I think for me, that's where some of the disconnect.
But I wouldn't shame you. I would say, Mike, you said some really nice things when you've hung out with him. Have you not evolved them? Like, here's my thing, right? And this is the thing that I think this is a great conversation.
Okay.
When you are in an intimate romantic relationship, there's a sensitivity that you don't have with your friends, right? And one of the things I could not stand about the boyfriend in the original that I think a lot of people are having a thing about is he was passive aggressive and shaming even when it was obvious that she didn't have it. And rather than hold space for her like a partner who wants to make sure she's good, he was stuck on, well, you said this and it's really this. And he was being punitive rather than being compassionate. And it's impossible to be in a relationship with anybody for a long time without you seeing them struggle at some point to meet their new self. How do you show up while somebody is meeting their new self? The lack of grace and then weaponizing those disparities is where he became unsafe for a lot of people watching the movie. Because there have been times where, perfect example, I had a friend who said that I'm ambivalent about having children. And so this whole time I've been talking about I want a baby, she's like, I'm ambivalent. She had a miscarriage and was devastated more than I would have been. And I said, friend, I love you. Can we now admit you want a baby? And she said, you're absolutely correct. But do you see how when somebody's meeting their new self, that hypocrisy is human, but how you show up for it is a choice.
I hear you 100%, and you have the language to articulate those things very clearly. I agree. My thing is, sometimes I've had issues kind of like connecting some of the dots that I'm wanting to get to. So I'll say this, right? Mm-hmm. I'll say that clearly he was not a perfect boyfriend. He was not, he had his ups and downs for sure, right? There's a level of emotional intelligence that I'm sure both of them did not have in that relationship. I'll say the whole line about like, I do house reductions all day. You could just at least be real about what it is that you like and are wanting. I think that was an intentional line of dialogue in the script for Andy specifically to take a look at herself and realize that she actually enjoyed the job.
Yeah.
And she wasn't being real with herself in the fact that she enjoyed the job. So when folks are like, the first boyfriend was like kind of like really a dick, he may have very well like been a dick. And in certain aspects, he was a dick. It's like, my birthday, yada, yada, yada. But I also feel like there's certain language that was in the original where he was like, I'm not. He also said like, I'm not a little kid. Like it's a birthday. It's less about that and more about be real with me. I'm asking you to be real with me about the things that you're experiencing in your life, like the little moments where I'm catching you smiling, but you're not saying anything about it. The little like things here and there where Andy was being real about, like, and okay, yeah, yeah. It's being real about what it is that she wants, and he was trying to get her to a place of just at least admitting what it is that she actually wants, and not running away from it, but running
shame
towards
isn't the way, though.
I agree that shame is not the way, but that's where I'm saying that he was not a perfect partner and definitely had his own issues, but like completely. Sometimes the comments that I read is like villainizing him. I'm like, sometimes I feel like we're missing the point of why he said the things that he was saying in order to get Andy to a place of understanding herself.
But in this current
film, I didn't feel like she was getting to that place.
Well, it was mansplaining. So I think the disconnect is when you do it in that way as a man to a woman, it's immediately mansplaining, and so you lose the women immediately because we're used to men saying, "Well, I know what's best for you, so why aren't you?" Like, it's like, "Oh, you're not my daddy, though. You know, I call you that in the bedroom." And I think what was amazing is Andy is still flawed in the new film, but she now has a man who does have the language. Yes. She now has a man who does have the grace, who doesn't need to be centered. Because guess what? He's reading the room. He's like, "Oh, you have no time for me. You're about to go to Italy and do this big thing. It's unreasonable of me to ask more of you," which is what the first guy didn't do, right? And so I like that we're seeing a lighter, more realistic touch of a man. I think that the masculine figure was a necessity. I think we didn't need to see Andy meet a man who could see her be flawed and keep her safe until she actually, and what happened, Mike? She came to the realization on her own because she wasn't shamed.
The thing is, I don't know if she came to the realization of her on her own still because Miranda was.
No, I said without him. But I'm saying without him, because when you're walking through life, there's your partner and there's the journey you go through with other people. Your partner, if they respect you as an equal, has to let you go on that journey and not act like a parent telling you what to do. Agreed. He let her go off and come back with the answer without shaming her punitively into telling her what the answer was.
Agreed. Yes, and that I love.
That's masculine as hell to me.
It's masculine as hell, and it shows the maturity level of growth of in terms of relationships and of the individuals that you come across while dating. I'll say this though.
He's divorced. He's already failed. He's divorced.
Right? He's already failed. And I'll say both men are realistic portrayals of men and relationships, period. Specifically within those time periods of life, like being in your like mid to late 20s compared to being now in your early 40s. Of like, you know, and whatever that looks like. I think both were great examples of Andy's then and Andy's now and how she kind of perceives the relationships and navigates herself in her career. Like it was good.
Like one of our queer followers said, Mike is a beautiful man. Hey, Mike. Hey, how you doing? Mike's a Leo, so I had to put down this. Oh, your teeth. Look at that.
Who there?
Mike, focus. Mike, we're doing the show.
What's going on? I mean,
I will say, I know you have to leave us. I know, because I don't want to interrupt the Met Gala stuff. So, Mike, this is his Super Bowl.
I have more time. We can.
Okay, so we're gonna look at one of the responses to the how men were treated in this film, because I saw a lot of discourse around the men, and I thought this guy, because we like to have men speaking on behalf of men on this show, so that it doesn't feel like it's just we're having a hen party and people can't be dismissive. So we're gonna let this man respond to the critiques around how the women related to men in this movie.
In Devil Wears Prada 2, that cuts straight to the core of the film's message, especially for women. And if you haven't seen it yet, consider this your spoiler warning. In that scene, Miranda Priestley, played by Meryl Streep, looks at Sasha Barnes, played by Lucy Liu, and says, "Why should you be defined by that marriage? He isn't." That line was so powerful because it calls out exactly how women are boxed in. Before anyone talks about Sasha's work, her power, or her influence. The focus goes straight to her marriage. That's the headline people reach for. Isn't that always the case in reality? What the story is doing is exposing a standard that's very real. A woman's identity gets tied to who she married and how it ended. The man walks away without it. He keeps his name, his reputation, his narrative. Miranda clocks it instantly. For years, stories like this would bring a woman back older, wiser, and settled. Married. Kids. Box checked. That's the formula. That's what audiences have been trained to expect. And this film doesn't do that. Andy Sachs comes back single. No kids, fully established, not struggling, not searching, not framed as someone who missed out. There's no apology, no explanation, no attempt to sugarcoat it. It treats that life as complete, not a phase, not a gap, not someone waiting to be fixed. Complete. The message was clear. Sometimes, in order to have success in your career, you have to make certain sacrifices, and that's okay. You don't have to be boxed into a conventional narrative that society has created. It's powerful to be a woman who's focused on her career, who doesn't want children. It's a sacrifice some women are willing to make, and it's amazing. And here's something that most people don't even know. There is an actual in-universe runway article written by Andy Sachs about Sasha Barnes. The very article that Andy wrote when she and Miranda met with Sasha Barnes. It exists as a real piece. I'll drop the link in bio in my link tree. It's free to read. Stop reducing women to relationships that don't define them. Stop writing women like their lives only makes sense if they end up attached to someone. That narrative is outdated. And that's the read. If you like your tea hot.
Now, here's the thing. You want to hear something that's deeply ironic? It's the woman who was speaking misogynistically and the man who was eradicating it. And on this show, we always talk about how we are anti-misogyny, not anti-men, because sometimes the misogyny has a vulva, right? Sometimes the misogynistic person in the room is another woman.
You know,
and so we're not anti-man or anti-genders. We don't do gender wars here. We're anti-systems of oppression. And I think it's deeply ironic that a woman was like, she don't need no man. If he's not going to be the center, then why was he in it at all? And here's a scholar saying, but in real life, why do you have to center men to engage with them?
Yeah. Systems of oppression does not just, is not just limited to one sex. So that conditioning happens to both sexes.
What do you think about the thing about the not letting your relationship define you, and how no matter, look at Meg Thee Stallion, look at Cardi B. It doesn't matter how successful you are. If you can keep a man, suddenly it becomes as important as how many Grammys you have.
Yeah.
That's wild. I will say this, we're going to pivot to another review because
it was a really good sequel.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a really good sequel. I'm hesitant to call it perfect because I'm like, that word perfect.
Nothing is perfect.
This language when it comes to a writer, I'm like, perfect. But it was very, very good. It was very good.
Can I tell you the part that for me, and I think in one of the subsequent videos, I want to talk about this while you're still here before you go. I think the part for me that I thought was the most unexpectedly touching, because as writers, we storyboard everything the minute the movie starts. So even if we enjoy a movie, we already predicted lightweight 80% of this shit, right?
Yeah.
The part that I did not see coming, which is rare for me to say, and that I was pleasantly surprised and deeply moved by, was, those of you who know, you guys know I have a lot of queer men in my life, and I'm a strong advocate because I feel like queer men are attacked because they remind straight men of women. It's misogyny, yes? Andre Leon Talley, I will probably spit on Anna Wintour's grave when she dies because I will never forgive her for how I believe she failed Andre. And we all know that Stanley Tucci's character is the Italian Andre Leon Talley of the franchise. And Miranda failed him in the first iteration. I'm not going to share too much, but the fact that they created a moment for the Anna Wintour character to finally acknowledge the sacrifice and the loyalty of the Stanley Tucci character, which I see as Andre Leon Talley, and finally say, no, you matter too. When everybody wanted something, when everybody was asking for things, when everybody was pulling at me, you remain tried and true, and that matters. And they gave him that little moment to show what it's like being the loyal person left of center to the person in a position of power. I was deeply moved by that because I feel like we talk about powerful women, and this is something I've confronted Carlos King about, so he knows that Carlos has already seen me say this. I hated the Real Housewives of Atlanta subsection of time where all the gay men were seen as purses and accessories. I hated it. I hated when even with Tyra and Top Model, gay men were always accessories to powerful women. I loved that they had a moment where she, as a marginalized person in a position of power, looked at him and said, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done. And it moved me unexpectedly. It was quick because, you know, the movie was only 2 hours long, child. It was quick, but it felt nice to have that moment. What did you feel about that moment? Did you think it was necessary? Did you think it was fluff? Do you think they lingered? What did you think about that moment?
I'm so glad you brought that moment up because that's the only moment where I felt like a Miranda was off character.
Very off character.
For me, it's because she wasn't the driving force of that decision, and she didn't have they didn't give her agency in that moment and in terms of how the scene was framed. And I'm trying not to give certain aspects of it away, but the way that scene was framed as if Miranda couldn't believe that he would have wanted her job when it's so clear that Nigel would not just excel in that position, but is really the only person that could do that job besides her. And I feel like she has recognized and known that from the beginning. So I felt like they did her a slight disservice of making it seem as though Miranda was like blind to it and was like, oh my God, I can't. Oh yeah, like, wait, really? You think? And I'm like, no, like you have to have known.
No, I know a lot of Mirandas who are shocked. I know a lot of Mirandas.
Okay, fine, right? If that is the case, then I would have also have liked moments where she was unsure of things in other places. Because I'll put it to you this way, right? When it comes to Emily, Miranda clocked Emily. When it comes to Andy, Miranda clocked Andy. Miranda clocks everything around her, and not just clocks everything around her, but is aware of everything around her. But for that to be her one blind spot,
that's usually the blind spot.
Inauthentic to me. I'll just say it felt inauthentic to me because that's the closest person to her, especially in the first one where she's like, in the first film where Nigel doesn't get that job because Miranda basically trades the job in to save herself. That felt like, okay, you know, Nigel was like, she'll pay me back when the time comes. She'll pay me back when the time comes. So I already felt like that was foreshadowing for this film anyway, because it's like Nigel's going to end up getting the job. But for her, the simple tweak that I would have made to that scene is giving Miranda the agency to make that decision for herself, knowing that she was already going to make it and still get the emotional moment of Nigel getting the job.
See, this is where we disagree.
That's my only thing.
He said to Andy, because when Andy said, I'm so happy that you bounced back from how she slighted you the last time I worked with you, he said, she's done that to me a million more times since then. That is our cadence. And as someone who has been the sidekick,
okay,
that sentence to me made it realistic. He said she's done it to me a million times since then, honey. That's not nothing new, right? As somebody who has been the people pleaser to a powerful person, I get used to telling them it's no big deal because I don't want to inconvenience them because I want to make sure they're good. And then you do someone a disservice because you teach them over 20 plus years. It's cool because I keep doing it and you keep saying it's cool. So the same Nigel who said, no, it's cool. She's done it to me 20 times since then. That's just how it is. I don't even need it anymore. Even when she said to him, oh my God, you're the perfect person to do this speech instead of me because you wrote it. He fought it. I think what was more realistic, as somebody who said that moment with somebody, when someone thinks you don't care about something that they should know that you would care about because you are complicit as a people pleaser, it often takes an inconvenience external party to state the obvious again, to reintroduce the obvious. And I've had friendships where somebody was like, hey, Blue's throwing you all these parties. You've never done anything for her. Yeah, but Blue likes to throw parties. Yeah, sure. Blue likes to throw parties. But the fact that she's thrown you 20 and you've thrown her 0, did it never occur to you? And I'm realizing I'm complacent in creating that one-sided dynamic because I keep acting like it's cool. And it's not till a complete stranger states the obvious that I'm like, no, there's no way that, oh, shit. Okay. Oh, well, when you say it like that, objective third party who wasn't part of this weird dance that we're creating, I could see that. And then when the person comes to me and says, Blue, I just realized I want to do something nice for you because you're always doing it for me. I'm never doing it for you. I, as the person who's used to people pleasing, I usually fight it at first because I don't want to make the other person feel bad. Nah, that's my homie. They ain't got it. And then they're like, Blue, fuck if they ain't got it. They can make time for it. I've had that exact moment play out exactly like that. So for me, I feel like whoever wrote it probably has experienced it because it felt incredibly realistic.
Okay, I'll give you that. I think the thing that bothered me is I didn't hear that first line. I don't know what.
Oh, well, that probably is the reason.
That first line, that first line would have helped me to get to the place where you are, but it just still bothered me that was her only, like, that's your.
The person closest to you is usually your blind spot.
That is true. And here's something else that I'll add to that is oftentimes like that person that's been your companion, you don't want to lose. Not just do you not want to lose them, but you don't think that they want to go.
Yeah.
You don't think. And Nigel had been very good of not only making himself an asset to Miranda, but not making himself a threat to Miranda. Miranda was very conscious of where all her threats were. And I think at times when your eye is on all the threats, your eye isn't on your allies as much. And in terms of whatever your allies needs maybe. Absolutely. Okay. So you helped me get there. Okay.
And honestly, that's why I think the writing was so intentional because I knew I was going to do a review. So I was really listening to the story. And I was like, oh, this makes sense because he said she's done this to me 1,000,000 times in the last 20 years. This is nothing new. So they already have a toxic pact that I will dim my light for you and you will pretend I don't need a light. And when somebody states the obvious, you're going to be stunned because I've never inconvenienced you with self-advocacy. Even that speech of everybody has asked something of me but you.
Yeah.
And asking to be centered is asking something of her. He wouldn't even do that.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the sidekicks who finally decided to speak up.
The thing is, when you're a powerful person, the last thing you want to do is, commit to another request from someone that you feel is you wanting to be a friend to you. Yeah. And just a friend to you, right? And just a colleague to you. Like, it's so nice when someone does not want something from you. And trust and believe, the further you get in just life and in career, people just want things. They want things. And it's so hard to build genuine relationships and friendships with people because people just tend to want stuff from you when they meet you.
And see you as a resource.
And see you as a resource and not a person. Yeah. That's very much Los Angeles.
Honey, very much big mama resource over here. I started saying no, like I ain't got it. No, I ain't got that. Yeah. I would say, Mike, I would say for you, you are probably one of the people who I can say no to and know that you will still show up the next day. And I need you to understand when it comes to friendship, I don't gauge friendships on the yeses. I gauge them on who will still love me on the other side of a no.
Yes.
Because that means that my safety matters more than just centering your ego. I think a lot of people, particularly in the industry, whether it's entertainment or fashion, even if they love you, it's almost like they assume, well, she got me, she's going to always say yes.
Yeah. And you also
sometimes
have to be
it's a sincere no.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also have to be mindful of individuals that are operating from a place of desperation.
Yeah,
because they're going to cling to you. They're gonna cling to your coattails, your pocket, the inner lining of your pocket. Like they're
inner lining, honey.
Like, listen. I'm in the prison yard, child. I had to pull a reference. But they're going to try to use you however they can because they're just desperate and just trying to claw their ways to something. So it's nice when you're able to come across genuine friends who don't need those things from you and are very just happy where they are, and individuals that are just equally yoked in those ways. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
very, very grateful for my friend Blue's friendship. That's my sister.
I
That's
love
my
you.
sister.
You guys
I
find
thought-
people that you can have messy, courageous conversations with and then get drunk at happy hour a week later. Like, that's real friendship. Friendships are
Okay.
not. I hate people say, "Oh my god, I've known him for 20 years. We never had an argument." I get nervous when I hear shit like that. Like, wait, y'all ain't never had no debates. Like, nobody's ever had a bad moment, because it means you haven't had true intimacy. I think intimacy means we can be inconvenienced by each other and find our way to the other side.
Absolutely.
We can disagree. We can have bad breakups. We can have relationship. It doesn't mean that you have to trauma bond or anything. It means that I don't have to be perfect. I can just be whole.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a wholeness that I saw in this film that I think, again, the people who wanted just escapism were not prepared for how emotionally intelligent this was going to be. It was like an interesting mix of escapism to some degree, but then it's emotional intelligence to a certain degree. I don't think audiences were prepared for it to be that melange. I think the original was so toxic and fun. They came back for toxic and fun.
Yeah.
Everybody went to therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. The writer had an opportunity to do something amazing and just provide a level of social commentary about where we are and where the print industry is. And the thing is, like, we had to have that conversation. There's no way that you can do this film and not have a conversation about where print is versus digital, but they did it in a way where it was still fun and entertaining and not too deep, honestly, for lack of better language, not too deep, because I'm sure the execs did not want to go too deep. They're like, let's keep this fun. Let's keep it light and airy. So
Miranda
the
hanging
fact
up her
that
own
the
coat.
writer was able to achieve that is great. I'm sorry?
The Miranda hanging up her own coat. I'm sorry.
Listen. In
I'm
life,
gonna tell you, it takes little to be spoiled. When you go to Delta One, the concierge will come to your car to grab your suitcases to take them to the private TSA portal away from everybody else. I went to Delta One a month ago. This is not a flex. This is showing you how I am flawed. There was no concierge there, and I just stayed at my bag for like 2 minutes. Like, so what's about to happen to this bag? And the lady said, "You're not coming over here?" I said,
you're
"Where's
not
the
grabbing
bag?"
it?
I paid extra for you. And Mike, I judged myself. I was like, "Blue, you've had money for 17 minutes, bitch. You've been carrying your bag your entire fucking life, bitch. If you don't take your fucking bag and drag it yourself." Miranda in the cafeteria, it takes very little, Mike. We both like nice things, okay? I'm a Taurus, you're a Leo. Hello.
Yeah.
It takes one deposit for me to forget where I came from.
And I anticipated Miranda's line. I'm like, she don't know where the cafeteria is.
I know she don't know what the cafeteria is.
She don't know where it is. Like, she ain't never been there.
Said, when did we get a cafeteria?
She ain't never been there.
And then even when she said, "Oh my God, you guys look like homeless people under a bridge in New Jersey," and they were like, "Miranda," she's like, "What's bad? Homeless or New Jersey? Like, what did I fuck up?" Like, she's trying to figure out what's tea.
She was funny. No, she was funny.
It was funnier than I thought.
Yeah, I laughed out loud a few times. It was
less rom and more calm than the original for me.
Yeah.
I think the original was a rom-com. I think this was more calm with a little bit of rom.
And that's the other thing. We also have to create these new genres and kind of like rethink what certain genres are. Like the idea of a rom-com too. It's like, okay, I have the trouble honestly categorizing this film as a rom-com because it wasn't a rom-com. It was a comedy.
It felt like a middle-aged coming of age.
Child, right? Like a conscious comedy. Like it wasn't a rom-com.
Well, they're saying the 40s are the new teens. And so I do think this new genre of middle-aged coming of age, maybe we should work one together. Middle-aged coming of age stories, like going through a second puberty in your 40s.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I think I liked it so much, and even maybe you liked it, even though you had your initial, like, oh, what's that? Is because it speaks to the 40-somethings or people who are about to be in their 40s, late 30s, going into, because I feel like 38 to 45 is a very specific puberty that is happening in this social zeitgeist right now.
Yes. While still making room for Gen Z and like Gen Alpha?
It's like we can keep up with y'all, but we have to lay down more often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an interesting, weird hybrid. And I think that we keep talking about how millennials are aging differently. And I think as a millennial, I think that's why I immediately understood some of the things that people are complaining about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The last thing I'll say before, like, my only gripe was Andy going up the stairs again.
Bitch,
I'm like,
you
girl,
didn't.
you didn't learn the first time.
Me too. I said,
You didn't understand boundaries. Like, this was your opportunity not to go up the stairs. This was your chance. This was your chance to be like, you know what? I'm gonna just wait for her to come downstairs. Thank you.
When she
like,
went up the
that was
stairs,
your
my booty
chance.
just clenched. Like, bitch, you didn't learn
I
nothing.
was like, girl, you have not learned.
And Miranda's husband was like, well, that's a brave girl. Like, he watched her. Like,
I'm like, girl.
Ooh, body positivity. Real quick. I like that the receptionist is a fat queer man.
Yeah. And was he older?
Yeah, I did not see no fat people in the original. Was there any fat people in the original?
No.
I don't think I saw a single person over a size. In fact, the joke was that Andy was the fat girl as a size 6. So to see actual fat bodies, I was like, ooh.
And there was plus size models in the runway
Ashley
show.
Graham started the movie. The movie started on Ashley Graham's ample body. I was like, now hold on, bitch. You
there were smart decisions were made. And we cannot get off this call without talking about the scene with Miranda. Y'all go see the movie.
Yeah,
the scene with Miranda standing in that mall promenade with like the other brands like Prada, and like it was at night, no one else was around. It was just her
fashion graveyard
wearing this bejeweled black sequenced outfit that looked like she was at a funeral, and it was like a combination of a funeral of her career and a funeral of just where we were in the times when it comes to fashion brands and fashion labels that are desperately trying to stay relevant in this digital age and in this fast fashion age. Yeah, that was a masterful scene.
I think there were so many masterful scenes that if we had like 3 more hours, we could go scene by scene. Well, maybe members only because we don't want to spoil it. The moment where Andy is confronting, why do I keep calling her Emily Blunt? I keep forgetting her name in the movie.
Emily.
Oh, sorry. I'm always thinking about the Emilys. Right? I'm bad with names that when I get it right, I don't trust myself. When they had the tete-a-tete about Emily saying, I left the publication industry because the only industry that's surviving is luxury. And because of me, now there are women who are in the middle of Podunk, Mississippi with a $3,000 bag, and they can have a taste of luxury. And Andy says, is that a good thing, though, that women are having $3,000 bags? And she said, yes, I'm bringing more beauty to the world. And have you never heard of Christmas?
And that's what makes her a vendor and not a visionary.
Ooh,
that's what makes her a vendor and not a visionary. And Miranda
see the movie. That's right. A bar from the movie. When she said that line, "You are a vendor, not a visionary,"
baby.
Bitch, I almost stood up like, "Excuse me, ho."
Do we fighting words, bitch?
Miranda, come outside. We're not gonna fight you.
We gonna fight.
If anybody ever looked me in my face and said some shit like that, you'd have to find bail money from C Block.
Oh, absolutely.
One of them bricks would have to be used.
Why you think I'm here?
Right, I said,
she was real slippery at the mouth. No, yeah. When Miranda said that to Emily, I was like, wow.
You are a vendor. But not a visionary. Don't you? If you say that to me, our friendship is like at this point. Just tell me you hate me so I could go home.
Yeah.
But you know the thing that was crazy. Now I will say this: they didn't show Miranda having therapy, but you could tell that Miranda had been humbled by life and probably had some tough conversations with herself. And the one scene that I cringed at, I felt like it was several beats too long, like they plummeted the point a little bit too much, but I understood the importance. Another limousine scene where she again reminds Annie for the 50th time, bitch, we the same.
Yep, we're the same.
Why do you keep pretending that you keep showing back up because we are the same? I'm just more brave about it.
And I needed Andy to stop pretending, and we needed Andy to stop pretending, and she finally got to that place for sure. And here's something else that I'll say. This is why Meryl Streep is just amazing.
I get shivers when you even say her full government name.
Oh
like,
my God, Meryl Streep, like who she is. I'll put it to you like this, and to all of you listening, right? In the original film, what's the guy's name? Irv. Her basically, Miranda's boss was trying to get rid of her.
Yeah.
Because she was too expensive. So imagine Miranda has been fighting for her career and her position since then. It's been 20 years.
The bitch is tired.
She's tired.
But she wouldn't take any of it back. The part that I love about that limousine scene is...
Go ahead.
I'm getting a shiver because you said Meryl Streep's name, and I was going to shiver when I heard her name. I was fired for the Griot for being too expensive, even though I was their top writer. Right? So I know what it's like to do great work and still be seen as a bottom line. When they brought me back, I never felt at home there anymore because I was like, ooh, now that I know that me being exceptional doesn't mean shit.
Sensible, right.
I'm never going to be able to subscribe to say, it doesn't matter that we went viral. You can still get rid of me, right? There's a thing that happens when you realize that your brilliance is not enough because you are part of an ecosystem or you are a cog in the wheel. Baby. And when we watch people like Tracy Ellis Ross, and for those who are asking, are we doing a Michael Jackson review? I will be doing a Michael Jackson review. Mike, you can come back for that as well. But this one will be about the people who didn't show up, like Diana Ross and Janet Jackson. I'm going to be provocative on that one. But I remember that there was a moment when I had a brain fart just now. There was a moment when I was looking at the Tracy Ellis Ross interview with Michelle Obama, where Michelle Obama was talking to Tracy Ellis Ross about dating. And she said, I've lived an amazing fucking life. I just haven't found my person who could do it with me. And it hit me real hard. A lot of times we think that just because someone didn't get exactly where they meant to get, that they regret the journey. And I remember watching that interview and saying, I fucking am obsessed with all of my choices, even though I have some disappointments about not hitting all my targets. We don't talk enough about how you can stand 10 toes down on all your choices, have some L's, and still not regret your choices. I love that Miranda was like, it wasn't perfect. My kids probably hate me a little bit. Shit was a little tricky. I was probably a little abusive. I get it. I love this shit though.
Yep.
Can we all admit that just because you don't get where you intended, you can still not regret your choices?
Yeah. And I can name it. And I can say it. I can say that I love
that shit.
I meant that shit. I love this job. I love what I do. And it's not shameful that I do. Even while being a mother, a wife, a significant other to whoever, that does not matter. I can very well love what it is that I do and not feel shameful about it.
Yes, I love this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I like the movie now that we've talked about it.
It's really good. They need to. It's really good. It was a great movie. It was a great movie. Little notes. And the thing is, the notes that I do have are things that are like out of people's control. Like you have to curtail, yourself to the needs of the studio, the execs, the marketing team, like whoever. And that's what I felt like happened in this case with this film, in the aspects in which I didn't agree with what was happening, or pacing being off, or certain parts being rushed. Like some things you can't help because you're within time constraints of how long the film should be, and you're at the mercy of everyone else who thinks that the film should be what it is in order for it to be successful. So I get those things. Barring all of that, it was a fantastic movie. It was a great film. Go see it, y'all. Go see The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Oh, what y'all? They said before we wrap up, because we're ending right on time. Look at God. Before we wrap up, because Mike is going to be doing Met stuff. So, Mike, number one, tell them where they can see you.
You can find me on Threads if you search Mike Goyo, last name Gauyo. My handle on Threads and TikTok and Instagram is Black Boy Writes. It's Black Boy Writes with like a period in between each letter.
And I follow him, guys. So if you go to my Instagram and look at Black Boy Writes on the right, who I'm following,
go to her story. She posted, about the live and all that. Like, yeah, you'll be able to find me. Just search Mike Goyo too, and I should pop up on those different sites. So,
and what is your rating, Mike? Now that we've discussed it, out of 5 stars, how many stars do you give it?
I give it a 4.9.
Oh, friend.
I give it a 4.9. I can't give it a 5 completely. I give it a 4.9. I think it was a fantastic film. I think it was a great film. It was a great film. I think the only thing that keeps it from being perfect is like the issues in some of the pacing and like how quick certain parts were. Oh, here's another thing too, and Blue, let me know if you felt this way. But the way that they got to Andy's entire plan about how she was going to save.
Not too much spoilers. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there were certain aspects that felt like rushed and a little muddied in terms of like, the overall arc that I felt like, wait, what just happened? I was like, wait, did I miss something? And I'm like watching this whole thing. Certain parts there where I felt like, this feels a little muddy in terms of like clarity. Yeah, but overall, y'all, it was a fantastic film. Go see it. It's so good. It's really nostalgic. And for those who've never seen The Devil Wears Prada before, it's still a fantastic film. You'll really enjoy it. And the last thing I'll say is Amiri, the assistant, was that her name?
Yes.
Scene stealer. Every look she had on.
Gorgeous, dark-skinned, Southeast Asian woman, yes.
Oh my God, gorgeous. She stole the screen whenever she popped on screen. Like, fantastic.
You know how we talk about colorism on here. Seeing a dark-skinned Southeast Asian woman, a dark-skinned...
Yes.
Bitch, she's our color. I said, yes, bitch, you better, because you know that Asia is the #1 exporters and importers of bleaching cream. So even just from that perspective of having the Japanese girl and the dark-skinned Indian girl and having the plus-size queer man, like, they did it in a way where it just felt like this was real life. I will say that final shot at the end, the final shot at the end was satisfying. Yeah. It was very kumbaya, but that final shot at the end,
it was very
as equals. They were all lateral. They were all, I don't want to ruin it. I would give it a 4.5. I would give it a robust 4.5, a very heavy-handed 4.5 that could easily be a 5 with the tweaks that Mike already mentioned.
Yeah, 4.5 and a 4.9 for me. I thought it was really good. And
so
the last
it's about
thing
4.75. Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's right up there, child. That's a great Uber rating. That's a great Uber rating. Yeah. And what Andy was wearing at the end too.
Yeah.
What she was wearing at the end. I'm like,
As a bitch who loves details, they sipped. I could tell they sipped on the artistry, and the editing was political.
They took their time for real. They
took their motherfucking time. Even though, ironically, we're complaining about the pacing of the final cut, but baby, everybody sipped on their job.
Yes, like everybody y'all, like we're grasping at straws to find anything that was wrong with the film. Honestly, like it was a great film. It was a great movie. It was great.
To those of you who want to talk to bad guys, I need you to evolve with the times, because it's not woke to not want to be left behind and irresponsible for the sake of nasty fun. And I think that anything that we do that is more than 10 years old and revisit, the people are going to have to meet the time. We're in unprecedented times, which is very rare to say because history repeats itself. We're doing shit that ain't been done before. We're finding new ways to fuck up, right? Mm-hmm. So in these unprecedented times, stop groaning when things are responsible.
Absolutely.
You wanted her to be a mean old bitch, and I think the audience deserves more than that. Even if they're disappointed they didn't get it. It's like finding that your toxic ex actually doesn't want to sleep with you because he found a nice girl and he hopes that you find some therapy. You know what I mean? Right. Sometimes you see a snapshot of something toxic and you want it to be toxic, and you come back and it's grown. They grew up, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. You're right.
Well, guys, I have to go because y'all know y'all got to see me in another hour over at Carlos King. Mike, we have to do this more often. I adore you. You were the perfect person to talk to about this too.
Oh my God, thank you.
This was so perfect. This was so perfect. And also the Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos pokes. We love that. Because the AI thing at the end was chilling for me.
Yeah. And the thing is, it wasn't too heavy-handed with that too, because I'm sure they didn't want to take attention away from the film and the entertainment factor of it. So I feel like it was done tastefully, and satirically. So I thought it was really good.
And by the way, we're gonna end on this note. For those who said their biggest takeaway was they didn't like when she got on Coach. Yeah, no. You can't get me to do that. I'm not singing Coach in middle seat. No.
The only
that scene did piss me off. That's why I had to go down to a 4.5. That scene comedically it was funny because they wanted more calm than the rom, but no. That was the only time I was like, oh no.
I hear you, and I agree. I'll say that the only thing that justifies it happening for me, and the only way that I can make sense of it in my mind, is that like Miranda was already on thin ice in terms of her overall image. So if she were to do anything different or not be a team player, it might have been more
a middle seat,
more flames to the fire. The middle seat part,
a middle seat and coach. Mike, I ain't got no fucking power. There's no way in fucking suck my dick. I'm not getting in a middle seat and coach. You understand me?
I think there could have been other ways to show that Miranda was being a team player and not her being in the middle seat and coach on a plane.
The coach not that bad. A middle seat and coach is the ball sack of the devil. Stop lying. Even when I was broke, you couldn't get me in the middle seat. Are you serious right now?
And she couldn't get her liquor.
She said, "I would like some champagne." They were like, "We don't do champagne back here.
We don't do that back here."
Okay, enough of us are in the movie. We love y'all. We'll be back. Oh, last announcements. We are going to be having a Cinco de Mayo. Mike, you're welcome to come if you want. I'll send you the link. We're having a Cinco de Mayo meet and greet tomorrow at 3:00 Pacific. And we're going to be having a Hot Topics live on Thursday or Friday. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I love y'all so much. Please go watch Everywhere Wears Prada and tell us what you Tell us what Prada 2. Tell us what you think. And I think the phrase that pays, because we always have a phrase for the comments. I think this broadcast phase will be evolution can be entertaining. Evolution can be entertaining.
I love that.
It might be tricky for the audience at first because they came for some bullshit, but I think as writers, as creatives, we're going to have to inconvenience and retrain the audience to be a little bit more emotionally intelligent because our fucking lives depend on it. Evolution can be entertaining. All right. On that note, love you, family. Bye.